Time to make the donuts. Yes. It is the start of a new quarter, or perhaps it's the middle of a quarter for you, depending on your system. And you're maybe already at risk of sabotaging yourself by doing this one dangerous thing. Well, in this episode, we'll be going into how you're already at risk of sabotaging yourself by doing this one thing, how to stop the sabotage, and ultimately get you back on track to a successful quarter and resulting year. And first of all, I do want to how did the title come out? How, time to make the donuts. So, especially when I was a kid back in Brooklyn, New York, and my mother, that's how my mother would wake me up. So she would, come to the room and she would just like, touch my little toes, and be like, time to make the donuts. She got that from some show back in way back when. But she would say, time to make the donuts. And I would always wake up. And this happened for years, and we never made donuts. Yet I still always woke up when she would say that. And now, now as an adult, I say I run and eat dessert. But what does making the donuts have to do with business and you essentially not self-sabotaging yourself and or sabotaging yourself and not sabotaging yourself, and ensuring that you stick to your goals? That is a great question. The hint has something to do with desserts. So that's not really a good hint, but you'll see. At any rate, before we get into ensuring how you really make the donuts during this quarter for your business and ensure that you guarantee your success for this quarter, I know some of you are likely new. Hello, my name is Vanessa Zami, and I'm the business defibrillator. You are here listening or watching Entrepreneurship is a Marathon, where I come on live every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, or essentially if you're watching this on a podcast, and this was probably released on a Wednesday. And my clients call me the business defibrillator because I consult entrepreneurs and business owners on how to revive, grow, and scale their business without burnout, without sleep deprivation, and without overwhelm. And as always, in every episode, before we get into the topic of ensuring that you are making the donuts and guaranteeing your business for success in Q2, what has been your win of the week? Type it in the comments. What has been your win of the week during the last 7 days? It's only Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on when you're listening or watching. But what has been your win of the week during the last 7 days? For me, last 7 days, it was my birthday. I actually almost forgot that it was my birthday during the last 7 days. So I was celebrating that. That was fun. That was nice. Actually, technically, I celebrated it the entire month, but still very fun. Very fun during this past weekend as well. It was lovely, and also came with like ice cream cake this weekend. That was fun. So that was really tasty. See dessert. But with that being said, what has been your win of the week? Type it in the comments or in the chat. If you're watching on YouTube, then scroll to the bottom. First, hit subscribe, then keep scrolling, then type in the comments what has been your win of the week. Hashtag replay as well. If you're watching on LinkedIn or Facebook, you can type it in the comments on the left or the right as well. Or yeah, on the right side if you're watching on LinkedIn. So what has been your win of the week? Let's celebrate with you. Type it in the comments. And for those who type it, you might get featured here on this show here. So let's get into it. So what does ultimately, right, making the donuts and my mother waking me up, telling me to make the donuts, but we never made donuts. So, I mean, literally, we didn't even pass. Like, so essentially the process was she'd wake me up, I would get dressed, and then we would leave, and then I would walk to my friend's house, right? And then we would walk to school together. And then we stop by the park first, do some jump roping, all that jazz. School bell would ring, we would run to school. Not once did we ever pass Dunkin' Donuts. Not once did we ever pass Dunkin' Donuts in that entire route. There was on Dunkin' Donuts was on the opposite. It was the other direction, right? So never actually even passed donuts or made the donuts in the morning. Maybe that's maybe that'll be on my bucket list. Like when I get some, I don't know, I will make donuts in the morning or something. I don't know. With that being said, what does that have to do with your business and ensuring that you do not self-sabotage? So if you think of it, another analogy I'll give you, right? You're at a restaurant or you're at Dunkin', and you look at all these colors, you look at all the beauty in front of you, just all this dessert just there. Look at the dessert menu. You're just like, yes, yes, yes. So I want this one, I want that one, right? So you're looking at you're at the restaurant looking at the dessert menu. At least this is me. You're looking at the dessert menu, maybe the appetizers, your jam, or the entrees, but you're looking at all the seafood or the steak, whatever your appetite tells you. You're just like, yes, I want it all. But here's the thing. If you decide that you're going to order it all, right? And you're actually gonna try to eat it all. You're like, yes, I'm gonna challenge myself to eat this and start, right? What is gonna happen? Your tummy's gonna start hurting. Right? Now your tongue may feel good. Your tongue will be like, so much sugar and yes, so exciting. But your stomach will be like, ow, 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 right? Maybe you have kids who have done this. right? What do they tell me say? They say, ow. And you probably tell them not to eat all the candy or dessert because of that reason. Alternatively, you may say, okay, I know I'm not gonna eat it all, but I can still try it all. So you'll order everything from the dessert menu. We should actually do this. One of the teams that I was on while I was working for a consulting company, and we would do different projects in different cities for different companies. And one of the teams that I was on, we had this tradition that when we would go out with the client or when we would go out as a team to any different restaurant that we went to, we would ensure that we ordered all the desserts, right, for the table. So it wasn't just each person have all the desserts. But we would order the desserts off the menu, literally the entire dessert menu, and just order it for the table, and so that everyone could just try it, etc. Right? And so what would happen is that it would be like, okay, well, we're not going to eat all of it. Like you as an individual person sitting at the table is like, I'm not going to eat all of everything, right? But I'll dabble. So essentially, it's like, okay, I'm gonna get a little bit of this cookie here, a bite of this there, this creme brulee over here, and so you're kind of just like dabbling, and you're eating a little bit here and there, But hey, it's all tasty. It's good. It's dessert. What isn't tasty? Okay. And what ends up happening though is that you don't really fully experience all of any one thing, right? You don't fully experience any one thing because you're dabbling all around. I mean, you experience a full dose of sugar, yes, great, but you don't experience any one particular thing. How does that connect to business if you haven't already figured it out, right? So for the first option where you ordered everything, you said, I'm going to eat it all. I'm just going to try to eat it all. Well, that's ultimately what happens when you reach the point of being overworked or burned out or stressed out in your business, right? And so maybe you found yourself already getting to this place. It's only day 2 of the quarter, and you're just like, right? It's literally the beginning of the month, right? And you're already too exhausted to get on calls. You're already like too tired to spend time with your spouse or partner. The quarter has reset, but you're still the same energy level, right? If anything, you may even be worse. And that means that what you need to do, you need to take a step back and think about, okay, what is it that I need to let go of my plate, right? I talk about this a lot, right, on the show, or even in my workshops as well too, but how to find time to do it all, how to balance all the hats, there are strategies around that. If you'd like more details on that, I have a master class that I do every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern. So yourbusinessrevival.com, you're welcome to check that out, yourbusinessrevival.com, the next upcoming date. But with that being said, what you need to do as someone who is at the point where you're feeling burnout and overworked is because you're doing more than you actually need to be doing, right? And chances are, you might say, but Vanessa, I need to do all the stuff I need to do. And chances are, no, you really don't. Right. And I know that by working with dozens and speaking and connecting with thousands of entrepreneurs and business owners, that ultimately you need to fix how you're doing what needs to get done. You need to redefine what needs to get done and then fix how you're doing what needs to get done. Right. And so ultimately what happens is that you're trying to, eat every single thing off the plates, right? And so you're ordered all the desserts and you're like, I'm going to finish eating all of it. And so you're trying to finish all the desserts, right? And you're just like overworking yourself, overworking your stomach, but also overworking your brain and your time and your energy up to capacity. And it's really only beginning of the quarter and you're still not really getting any of the results that you want. And so now you feel dejected, etc. Right? And so ultimately what it means that you need to get back to getting stuff done, but in a way that helps you to avoid burnout, find the time to do it all and balance all the hats in between. Right? And I have some episodes that we talk about that in, many episodes with different titles. And so, but ultimately, that's what you need to do there, right? If you're in the second option, the second thing, we talk about the second option, the person who, okay, you're at the dinner table, you're like, I'm gonna order everything off the dessert menu. And I know I'm not gonna eat it all, right? I know I'm not gonna eat everything else on the dessert menu, but I'm gonna order it anyways because why not, right? Like, why not, start doing ads? Why not hop on this account on Clubhouse or TikTok and Instagram and Pinterest? Why not, decide to venture into this new, streaming platform I just heard about? Why not? Right? So you just dabble. You just dabble here, you dabble there. But ultimately, what does that mean? That means that you don't really get anything finished, right? No donut, no dessert really gets finished eating because you just kept spending time dabbling. And so in this case, what happens is that you set your goals for the quarter, you had your goals, and what happens is that you ultimately don't end up really getting to the end of any one of those goals because you're like, okay, and if you're following the strategy or method I tell my clients, right, 3 and 3. So 3 goals in any given 3-month time frame, right? 3 goals in any given 3-month time frame. So you said, okay, I have my 3 goals, right? This is personal and business goals, but on a story. whole nother episode. But essentially, you have your 3 goals, right? Your personal business goals that you have. And then ultimately, what you're doing is, okay, you're saying, well, I was speaking to a colleague of mine today, and they said that I should look into doing summits. That was not in the plan, but hey, sounds like a good idea. I'm gonna add that in there too. So now you're adding a 4th thing to do. And then you speak to another colleague, and the colleague says, ooh, you know what you should totally do? You should totally like try to become like a YouTube influencer. And you're like, yeah, I should do that. So then you add that to your list as well too. So you're dabbling in all these things, and ultimately you don't end up really putting the focus and attention that those top 3 goals really need in order for you to succeed. So now, not necessarily getting overworked or stressed out, but just ultimately you just really guarantee that you're not going to get any results because you're not focusing on any one goal or any concentrated goal, right? Ultimately, when it comes down to it. And so, the way to think about this, YouTube business success. How to ensure you don't self-sabotage yourself. So first, identify, are you in that stress, overwork, burnout situation? Or, right, where you're concentrating on some things, like you're concentrating on your goals, but you are coming home every single evening, or maybe you work from home, so you're coming to bed every single evening, just like, oh my God, that. Or are you in camp number 2, where you are dabbling here and there, not really ending or focusing or, outlining things on what needs, essentially you're not really focused, right? So essentially what's happening, you're just dabbling. So it's like, you started out focused. That's the thing. You started out focused. You said, yes, these are my 3 goals for the quarter. I got this, right? And then like things started coming. Ads started coming your direction. People started saying stuff about what they were doing. And you were like, oh, that's so cool. So then you just started adding to your goals. And so now you're just dabbling in all these things. And what's going to happen is that, sure, it's only like, the beginning of the month. What's going to happen is that by the time you get to the end of the month, by the time you get to the end of 2 weeks, you're going to realize that you haven't really moved forward in any of your initial top 3 goals, right? And so what you need to do in that situation, you need to take a step back and remember, go back to that. Maybe you wrote it down on a piece of paper. Maybe you put some Post-it notes on your whiteboard. But wherever you had those top 3 goals, look back at it, remind yourself, and put everything else in the parking lot. I'm talking about the parking lot list, put everything else in the parking lot list, and stay focused on your top 3 goals, right? And so for more tips, though, coming up on time, for more tips on how to set your business goals for success this quarter and any quarter, and also if you're looking for more additional support on how to get stuff done and how to avoid burnout, I do have my masterclass that happens every Tuesday evening, 6 p.m. Eastern. So you're welcome to check that out, yourbusinessrevival.com for the next upcoming date. Might be every Tuesday, but it's like upcoming Tuesday. But it's actually yourbusinessrevival.com. Check that out for the next upcoming date to grab your ticket. It's a very essentially valuable price of $39. And so you're welcome to grab that ticket. And I look forward to seeing you in there for my intense virtual masterclass. With that being said, the rest of you, remember to have fun, make money, and share. Yes. And enjoy the rest of your week and ensure that you are staying on track for success for your quarter. Your clients and your customers and your family and your friends and yourself depends on you to do so. With that, chat soon.